You didn't arrive at this moment by chance. This prayer didn't cross your path randomly. There are times when heaven finds discreet, yet tremendously powerful, ways to call us. And when that happens, something within us recognizes it. It's like a soft voice, almost impossible to explain, saying, "Listen, remain. Something is being prepared for you." And today is one of those special moments. Today, through the intercession of Saint Carlo Acutis, you are about to take a spiritual step capable of completely transforming your story. Perhaps you arrived here exhausted, insecure, frightened, feeling that the struggle you face is greater than your strength. But I need to remind you, no challenge is too great when divine grace chooses to act. Take a deep breath. Let this presence envelop you. Something is beginning to move in your favor at this very moment. There are pains that no one notices. There are silent battles you face while outwardly you continue smiling. There are deep, urgent requests kept within that only God knows. And perhaps, as you listen to me now, your heart is asking for answers, direction, a sign. This is your sign. Saint Carlo Acutis, the young man who dedicated his life to revealing God's love, looks upon you today. Whatever the size of your suffering, he is by your side, ready to accompany you, clear your mind, strengthen your soul, and present your request to the Father. A spiritual force is approaching you, and it all begins the moment you surrender your trust and your heart with true faith. Before we continue, I need to ask you something essential. If this message has already begun to touch your soul, if you feel that this prayer has opened something within you, subscribe to the channel now. Activate the bell, not for me, but for you, because here every day we pray together. Every day there is a word, a plea, an intercession that may be exactly what you needed to not give up, to get up, to keep believing that God is working. When you subscribe, you're not just clicking a button, you're saying to heaven, "I want to walk in faith, I want to receive this strength daily." So click, turn on notifications, and come be part of this prayer family. You will feel the difference. Now turn your gaze to what truly matters, the miracle you are waiting for. There are situations that break us inside, that make it seem too late, that make us believe that heaven is silent. But I assure you, no sincere prayer is ignored. Saint Carlo Acutis said, "To always be united with Jesus is my life plan." And today, by joining in this prayer, you also join in his faith, a living, simple, strong faith that directly touches the heart of God. Perhaps you are standing before a closed door. Perhaps you are facing something that seems unsolvable. Perhaps you cry out for healing, liberation, for an urgent answer, for a miracle that only God can perform. And I want you to understand deeply, it is no coincidence that you are here. Heaven is calling you to a moment of total surrender, of openness, of spiritual decision. When you pray with faith and place everything in God's hands through an intercessor as pure and close as Saint Carlo, something begins to change within you and around you. In this prayer, we will ask for divine help in the most difficult situations. And not just ask, we will plead. We will present our request with the certainty that it is being heard. We will speak with the faith that God acts where there is humility, trust, and surrender. As you prepare to pray with me, open yourself to this serene and powerful presence that already surrounds you. The miracle you seek may be closer than you imagine. And Saint Carlo is here, by your side, ready to intercede. Saint Carlo Acutis, at this moment, I raise my voice and my heart before you, asking you to walk with me in this profound need that I have carried until now. You who experienced God's love so intensely, you who transformed every moment of your life into light for others, look now upon me. Intercede with the Father for me, because I need the strength that comes from above, that help that transcends human logic and reaches places that my eyes cannot see. I come before you with humility, acknowledging my limitations, my fears, and my hopes. I know that God knows everything that is within me, but today I ask you, Saint Carlo, to take to him what I sometimes cannot even express. There are nameless pains, silent struggles, nights when only God knows what happens in my heart. That is why I seek you. Because I know that your faith is alive, your presence is real, and your intercession is powerful. Saint Carlo, receive my request with tenderness. Accompany my hesitant steps, hold my hand on the path I so often fear to follow. You who were so young and so full of divine wisdom, teach me to trust, to wait, and to surrender what weighs so heavily upon me. Sometimes I no longer know what to do, where to look, where to find strength. Therefore, today I rest my heart before God, asking that your intercession open the doors that are locked and illuminate the places where my faith seems fragile. I place before you now that which hurts me most and that which I desire most, every detail I carry within me. I entrust this entire request to your hands so that you may carry it to the heart of God with your purity and surrender. And as I surrender it, I ask that you remain with me, driving away the discouragement, fear, and spiritual weariness that try to weaken me. May your presence be like a breath of hope that renews my soul and rekindles my faith. You who contemplated Jesus with such love, awaken that love in me. Make my heart believe in the impossible again. Make my faith rise up before what seems too great to me. I know that God can do all things. I know that He sees what I do not see, knows what I do not know, and prepares paths that I cannot yet understand. Trusting in this, I cry out for your intercession, asking that nothing hinder the miracle that heaven has already begun to move in my favor. Saint Carlo, as I continue in prayer, I feel within me a mixture of fragility and hope, as if my soul understands that it cannot do it alone, but at the same time realizes that it is no longer lonely. Stay with me, because there are battles I cannot face with my own strength alone. There are fears that try to paralyze me and thoughts that make me doubt what God is preparing. Therefore I cry out, I plead, and I surrender myself completely, asking that your intercession reach everything within me that needs healing, guidance, and light. When weariness overwhelms me, when worries suffocate me, when I see no way out, come and remind me that God does not abandon those who seek Him sincerely. You, who dedicated your life to showing the world that divine love is real, extend your hand over me now. Touch my heart and strengthen my faith so that I do not fall into discouragement or plunge into despair. May your presence remind me that even in silence God is working in every detail. I entrust to you, Saint Carlo, every closed door, every answer I have yet to receive, every situation that seems stagnant for so long. I also entrust my deepest fears, even those I hide from myself. May your intercession open paths, untie knots, illuminate decisions, and transform what today seems impossible. I know that for God there is no lost cause, no eternal night, no pain without healing. Therefore I place my trust in heaven and put my whole life under divine protection. Guide my heart, Saint Carlo, so that I do not give up before the miracle. Sustain my faith when it wavers, because sometimes the weight of struggles makes my eyes turn away from what God is preparing. Teach me to wait with serenity, but also to act with courage. Show me when to move forward and when to simply trust. May I feel with each step that I do not walk alone, but supported by your intercession and by the mercy of God, which never fails. Saint Carlo, stay with me in this sacred moment as I open my soul before God. Sometimes what I carry within me is so heavy that words fail me. Therefore I ask you to draw even closer and present to the Lord every emotion I cannot explain, every thought that confuses me, every fear that limits me. You understood human suffering because you lived with your heart surrendered to divine love. Teach me to do the same. There are days when my faith seems solid. On others it wavers like a fragile flame. Today, I ask you to protect that flame within me so that it does not go out in the face of difficulties. May I find in your example the strength necessary to continue believing even when everything says otherwise. Teach me to see God in the details, in the small signs, in the small provisions placed in my path. I know that God works in mysterious ways. Often he prepares answers that we only understand later. But while I wait, while I try to trust, while I walk through the uncertainties, I ask you to take my request to the Father with your sweetness and sincere faith. May he look upon me through you and see how much I need help, healing, guidance, and the miracle that will transform what weighs me down so much. Illuminate my emotions as well, San Carlo. Take away from me the anxiety that steals my peace, the fear that robs me of sleep, the sadness that tries to extinguish my hope. Clothe my spirit with the serenity that comes from God, that profound peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, but is born from the certainty that heaven is taking care of everything. May this peace touch my heart now like a balm and calm every thought within me. I place before you once again the request I carry with me. I place it with sincerity, with humility, and with faith. And even if the answers seem distant, even if the situation around me hasn't yet changed, I choose to trust. I choose to believe that God is working precisely where I need him most. I choose to believe that your intercession is opening invisible paths, moving silent obstacles, and preparing an ending that only God's love can build. Saint Carlo Acutis, I remain here, before the sky, without masks and without defenses, opening my soul with all the truth that exists within me. Sometimes I try to be strong, I try to show the world that I am well, but only God, and you know the weight I carry on my shoulders. Therefore, I ask you, remain with me at this moment. Do not turn away from your presence, for it is in it that I find solace, direction, and a thread of hope to continue walking. I know your life was a reflection of God's light. I know your young heart never strayed from faith, even in the face of pain. And that is precisely why I trust you so much, because you know the strength that comes from above. You experienced God's love in such a pure way that today you can help souls like mine who still struggle to fully believe when the storm seems endless. Teach me, San Carlo, to look to God with that same tranquil confidence, with that surrender that accepts all, hopes all, and transforms all. There are times when I close my eyes and wonder when relief will come. Moments when I feel I've already given everything, tried so hard, and yet the answer hasn't come. And as much as it hurts to admit, sometimes a part of me thinks about giving up. But it's precisely in those moments that I feel your presence drawing near, almost like a gentle embrace, enveloping my spirit and telling me no, it's not time to give up. You remind me that God is never late, that he never ignores the cry of a sincere heart. Therefore I ask you, Saint Carlo, enter into this part of my life that is so sensitive, so fragile, and so in need of help. Enter with your purity, with your light, and with your faith, so simple and so powerful. Place your spiritual hand upon all that is disordered and bring harmony where there is confusion, bring clarity where there is doubt, bring strength where there is weariness, bring hope where there is fear. May your intercession reach exactly the point where it hurts most, where it is most lacking, where it bleeds most. I know that heaven is listening to me now. I feel God's presence slowly drawing near, like a gentle breeze announcing a new time. I feel that as I pray, something within me begins to be reorganized, as if the Holy Spirit himself were preparing my heart to receive that which I do not yet understand, but which is already part of the divine plan. And while this grace moves, I continue to present my request with faith, with humility, and with the certainty that your intercession is creating a path where before it seemed impossible to walk. Saint Carlo Acutis, as I continue this prayer, I feel something within me beginning to open in a different way. It's as if each word spoken here is lifting an old weight from my heart, as if God's light is finding space to enter places where before there was only shadow. I ask you to remain with me in this inner movement, guiding each thought, each emotion, each sensation that awakens as I approach heaven with humility and truth. There are parts of my life that need a special touch of divine grace, parts that I hid out of fear, shame, and pain, parts that for a long time I tried to solve alone, believing that willpower, patience, or effort were enough. But today, I recognize that there are situations that only the power of God can change. And that is why I invoke you, Saint Carlo, because I know that your intercession reaches places where my human strength cannot. I sincerely entrust to you the situations that are beyond my control, those things I cannot foresee, those I cannot grasp, those that slip through my fingers even when I try my best to resolve them. I also entrust to you everything that destabilizes me emotionally, everything that makes me lose my footing, everything that confronts me with profound insecurities. Receive every detail of my life as a silent plea for help. You who live so close to God, you who saw divine love even in the smallest things, help me rediscover that same spiritual sensitivity. May I perceive the signs from heaven that previously went unnoticed. May I be able to hear God's voice, even when everything around me seems noisy and confusing. And above all, may I be able to believe that I am not walking alone, because your presence intercedes for me, and God's love accompanies me even when I don't realize it. Saint Carlo, I ask you to look with compassion upon the request I hold within me. You know the urgency I carry, the pain I try to hide, the need that accompanies me every day. I know that nothing is impossible for God, and therefore I trust that your intercession can open paths where there are blockages today. May you present my request to the merciful heart of God, asking him to pour his light exactly where I need it most, that he may wisely touch what I cannot understand, and that he may transform all that seems lost today. And as this prayer continues, I feel within me a strength that is slowly reborn, as if my soul were finding breath again. I feel that even without yet seeing the answers, heaven has already begun to act silently, preparing what will arrive in due time. And I remain here at your feet, San Carlo, surrendering every part of me that still needs to be touched by divine grace. Saint Carlo Acutis, I remain before heaven with an open heart, allowing each word of this prayer to resonate within me. I feel that little by little my soul is shedding old layers of fear and distrust, as if something is being purified in silence. It is a gentle yet powerful sensation that reminds me that when we truly surrender to God, nothing remains the same. And that is why I ask you to remain by my side, keeping alive this transformation that is beginning to happen within me. There is something within me that needs to be restored, something that perhaps I myself do not fully understand, but that I know needs divine light to be reorganized. There are old wounds that still hurt. There are memories that still weigh me down. There are uncertainties that still make me look away from what truly matters. San Carlo, I ask you to present all of this before God as a sincere plea for healing. Place before the Father that which I cannot name, that which I cannot explain, that which still binds me to what should have already gone away. I acknowledge that my faith sometimes wavers, but even in its wavering, a flame persists and continues to burn. May that flame now be strengthened by your intercession. May it grow, may it spread within me, bringing confidence where there was once doubt, bringing hope where there was once fear, bringing courage where there was once weakness. Teach me to believe as you believed, without hesitation, without reservations, without fear of fully trusting in the one who can do all things. Saint Carlo, also look upon my path. Sometimes I feel lost, not knowing which direction to take, which choice to make, which step is the right one. Intercede so that God may illuminate every decision, every movement, every future step. May I not be guided by despair or anxiety, but by the wisdom that comes from above. May I learn to walk calmly, trusting that God is already ahead of me, preparing every detail of what I do not yet see. I place my request in your hands once more. I do so sincerely, urgently, and with faith. You know my need. You know the depth of my pain. You know the importance of this miracle I so desperately await. And even though I don't yet understand God's timing, I trust that He is working. May you present my request before the divine heart with your purity and surrender, asking Him to pour upon me the grace necessary to transform this situation that has weighed so heavily on my heart. And as I pray, I feel something within me being reinvigorated, as if a new strength is slowly being born, bringing life where there was once weariness, bringing light where there was once uncertainty. I feel that this prayer is opening invisible doors, doors that perhaps I didn't even know existed, and so I remain here, trusting, believing, surrendering, knowing that your intercession is reaching places where my hands and my efforts could never reach. Saint Carlo Acutis, I remain before heaven with an open heart, allowing each word of this prayer to resonate within me. I feel that little by little, my soul is shedding old layers of fear and distrust, as if something is being purified in silence. It is a gentle yet powerful sensation that reminds me that when we truly surrender to God, nothing remains the same. And that is why I ask you to remain by my side, keeping alive this transformation that is beginning to happen within me. There is something within me that needs to be restored, something that perhaps I myself do not fully understand, but that I know needs divine light to be reorganized. There are old wounds that still hurt. There are memories that still weigh me down. There are uncertainties that still make me look away from what truly matters. Saint Carlo, I ask you to present all of this before God as a sincere plea for healing. Place before the Father that which I cannot name, that which I cannot explain, that which still binds me to what should have already gone away. I acknowledge that my faith sometimes wavers, but even in its wavering, a flame persists and continues to burn. May that flame now be strengthened by your intercession. May it grow, may it spread within me, bringing confidence where there was once doubt, bringing hope where there was once fear, bringing courage where there was once weakness. Teach me to believe as you believed, without hesitation, without reservations, without fear of fully trusting in the one who can do all things. Saint Carlo, also look upon my path. Sometimes I feel lost, not knowing which direction to take, which choice to make, which step is the right one. Intercede so that God may illuminate every decision, every movement, every future step. May I not be guided by despair or anxiety, but by the wisdom that comes from above. May I learn to walk calmly, trusting that God is already ahead of me, preparing every detail of what I do not yet see. I place my request in your hands once more. I do so sincerely, urgently, and with faith. You know my need. You know the depth of my pain. You know the importance of this miracle I so desperately await. And even though I don't yet understand God's timing, I trust that He is working. May you present my request before the divine heart with your purity and surrender, asking Him to pour upon me the grace necessary to transform this situation that has weighed so heavily on my heart. And as I pray, I feel something within me being reinvigorated, as if a new strength is slowly being born, bringing life where there was once weariness, bringing light where there was once uncertainty. I feel that this prayer is opening invisible doors, doors that perhaps I didn't even know existed. And so I remain here, trusting, believing, surrendering, knowing that your intercession is reaching places where my hands and my efforts could never reach. Saint Carlo Acutis, I remain here before you, allowing this prayer to sink ever deeper within me. I feel that as the prayer progresses, something stirs in the invisible, as if heaven were opening a silent space so that my soul could breathe again. And it is in this sacred silence that I ask you to continue with me, guiding my spirit with your serenity and your pure closeness to God. There are parts of my life that seem like a labyrinth, full of paths I don't understand, decisions that confuse me, and situations I simply don't know how to resolve. I present to you, San Carlo, each of these areas that seem trapped, blocked, delayed. I ask that your intercession enter like light into these dark places, like clarity where there is doubt, like order where there is chaos. May that which today seems impossible be touched by divine grace through your presence. I acknowledge, with complete humility, that my heart is often overwhelmed by thoughts that weaken me, anxiety, sadness, discouragement, worry. Sometimes all of this comes at once, like a storm I don't know how to face. And that is why I ask you, San Carlo, calm my emotions, embrace my troubled heart, surrender to God every feeling I cannot control, and teach me to rest in the certainty that heaven is in control, even when I cannot see it. May your intercession envelop me as a spiritual shield, keeping away everything that tries to lead me astray from the path of faith. Guard my thoughts, protect my steps, strengthen my spirit. May I have the courage to continue, even when the path seems long. May I have the serenity to wait when God's timing seems silent. And may I have the confidence to believe in the miracle even before I see it happen. Saint Carlo, I place before you once again the request that accompanies me day and night. You know the depth of this need. You know how much it weighs on my heart and how much I long to see God's hand act. Deliver to the Father that which I so desperately hope for, that which I so desperately need, that which I so desperately cry out for. May your intercession open the paths that I cannot open, move the obstacles that I cannot move, and transform that which I cannot transform. And as I make this offering once more, I feel that heaven is listening. I feel that, even without seeing the changes yet, something invisible is being prepared, shaped, guided by divine wisdom. It's as if a gentle peace begins to spread within me, reminding me that no sincere request goes unanswered, no honest heart goes without comfort, no surrendered soul goes without direction. And so I remain here, confident, steadfast, present, letting your presence, San Carlo, continue to guide me step by step. Saint Carlo Acutis, I remain before you because I know that this prayer is leading me to a more intimate place in my soul, a place where I finally acknowledge my weaknesses without fear and my hopes without shame. At this moment, I feel that each word spoken here becomes a bridge between my heart and the heart of God, and so I ask you to continue guiding this connection, strengthening my spirit and raising my request before heaven with your unique purity. There are situations in my life that seem to stand still, as if frozen in time, stuck between what I desire and what I cannot yet achieve. These are areas that bring me anguish, that stir my emotions, that sometimes keep me awake at night and try to steal my peace. Therefore I ask you, Saint Carlo, intercede so that God may touch each of these stagnant areas and place his divine movement within them. May that which is still begin to open, may that which is closed begin to yield, and may that which seems impossible begin to transform. I recognize that waiting is often tiring. Sometimes the soul becomes exhausted, as if it had carried too much weight for too long. But it is precisely at this point in the journey that your presence becomes even more important to me, because you remind me that faith does not depend on circumstances, but on trust in a God who always fulfills his promises. May my faith, however small, however fragile, be enough to keep the flame of hope alive while the miracle matures in God's time. Saint Carlo, welcome even my doubts. Those silent questions I keep inside, those anxieties I don't tell anyone. Show me that God is not afraid of my uncertainties, that he understands my questions, and that true faith doesn't demand perfection but sincerity. May I learn from you to live a simple, real, accessible faith, one that springs from the heart and not from appearances. I place before you once again the request I have made to heaven. I deliver it with the courage of one who believes, even when not yet seeing the result. You know every detail of this request. You know the urgency it carries. You know how much it has influenced my heart. Intercede so that God may pour upon this situation a grace so profound, so complete, and so precise that only divine love would be capable of accomplishing. And as I repeat this offering, I feel something within me beginning to take shape, as if the Holy Spirit were molding my faith, strengthening my emotions, and preparing my spirit for what is to come. I feel a peace that doesn't come from me, that doesn't come from circumstances, but that seems to descend from above, enveloping everything that was previously restless. And so I remain here, letting your presence continue to gently guide me to a deeper state of trust. And when I remember all the times when discouragement almost made me stop, I also recall how many times your story rekindled courage within me. Therefore, I remain here, allowing this prayer to touch every part of my life that still needs strengthening. I open myself to acknowledge the small graces I have already received, because even when everything seemed silent, there was always a gesture from you, a discreet light pointing to a possible path. May this prayer also reach the inner spaces I usually hide, those where I keep old fears, frustrated expectations, and questions that still have no answer. Sometimes I think I won't see any change, but even so I continue, because there is something in this faith that doesn't give up on me. May I learn to deal with what I carry, without trying to solve everything with my own hands, but trusting that providence arrives at the right time. Guide my thoughts away from anxiety. Teach me to breathe slowly, to accept that difficult days are not signs of failure, but part of a path that is still being built. May I find strength in what is simple, in silence, in the everyday, in the small acts of kindness that happen around me. And may each step taken, even those that seem insignificant, bring me closer to the peace I so desperately seek. Allow this prayer to also touch the relationships that are part of my life. May I know how to forgive without harboring resentment. May I know how to ask for forgiveness when necessary, and may your intercession transform what is still burdensome. Sometimes I don't know how to deal with certain people, certain situations, or even certain feelings, but I ask that you show me how to act with serenity. May this prayer reach my dreams and all that I still wish to experience. There are things I keep to myself because I fear they are too big, too impossible, too distant. But you, who understand the value of what is born within the heart, help me to believe again. May I have the patience to wait, the courage to try, and the wisdom to understand when something is not meant for me. And may this prayer also reach the areas of my life that I myself am afraid to look at. There are wounds I hide because I believe that if I touch them, everything might hurt again. But the truth is that nothing heals in forced silence. I ask that your intercession illuminate these dark places, so that I no longer run away from what needs to be transformed. May I find, little by little, the courage to face difficult memories, postponed decisions, feelings I have never named. May every word spoken here open space for a true new beginning. Sometimes I feel trapped between who I was and who I want to be, not knowing exactly how to bridge that gap. But as I remain in this moment of prayer, I realize I am not alone. There is a force that sustains me even when my own strength fails. May I recognize that presence and allow it to guide me. May this prayer also touch my future, even the one I cannot yet imagine. There are paths I cannot see, doors that have not yet opened, opportunities that seem dormant. I ask that you prepare each step, removing what does not serve me and bringing closer what is truly part of my mission. May I not get lost trying to control everything, but may I learn to trust in the movement of life, even when it takes me in unexpected directions. May I be able to cultivate hope even on the cloudiest days. May I have enough faith to keep walking when results don't appear immediately. May I learn to value the process, not just the destination. May that quiet confidence, that serene certainty that nothing is in vain when placed in God's hands, be born within me. I also want to lay before you, Carlo, all the feelings I carry in silence, feelings that so often weigh more than I can admit. There are days when anxiety tightens my chest, when the fear of failure paralyzes me, when doubt seems to speak louder than faith. On these days, especially, I need your intercession. I ask that you take to heaven what I cannot yet transform on my own. May every restlessness find rest. May every worry find direction. May every turbulent thought find peace. May this prayer also reach my relationships. For the people I love, for those who have drifted away, for those who have recently arrived, and even for those who have left difficult marks. May I learn to forgive what still hurts, to let go of what no longer makes sense, and to value what truly matters. May I have the maturity to listen, the wisdom to dialogue, and the humility to acknowledge my mistakes. May I be an instrument of light and not of wounds. May your intercession touch every bond, restoring what needs to be restored and protecting what should be preserved. I also ask that you enlighten my mind, Carlo, so that I may make decisions without being guided by despair or haste. There are choices I have been postponing because I am afraid of making mistakes. There are paths that seem risky and therefore remain locked. Give me clarity to see beyond my limitations. Give me discernment to perceive what comes from God and what only seems to be a quick fix. May each step be firm, conscious, and aligned with the purpose He has for me. As I continue this prayer, I realize that something is beginning to open up within me. It's as if a new understanding is being born, as if small clarities are emerging in the corners where before there was only restlessness. May this feeling expand, strengthen, and remain. Carlo, stay by my side, because I still need to walk with you before I can finish this prayer. I place before you, Carlo, all the areas of my life that seem to be stuck, where every effort seems useless and nothing changes. These spaces that weary the heart, wear down hope, and raise doubts about whether I will ever see the fruits of my prayers. I ask that your intercession touch precisely these stagnant points, that what is stagnant may begin to flow again, that what is trapped may be released, that the impossible may find a way to happen, and that I may see small signs, even the subtle ones, that heaven is working for me even when I don't realize it. May this prayer also reach the dreams I buried, those that life hardened or that time convinced me to abandon. You, who so young understood the value of each gift and each desire planted by God, help me to recover that sensitivity. May I believe again in what I once intensely desired. May I recognize that no just dream is insignificant and no dream too great for God to fulfill. May that flame be reborn within me, and may I have the courage to dream again without fear of failure. I also entrust my emotional, mental, and spiritual health to you. There are times when I feel I'm carrying more weight than I can bear. Thoughts accumulate, feelings overwhelm me, and my exhausted soul cries out for relief. Carlo, take to heaven every part of me that needs rest. Grant me serenity to deal with what I cannot change and strength to act on what depends on me. May every inner wound find healing. May every weariness find rest. May every tear have meaning. I also ask that this prayer touch my finances, my work, my obligations, and everything that requires balance when I struggle to find it. In times of difficulty, it's so easy to lose focus, to be carried away by anxiety, and to forget that God is the one who provides. Therefore, I place these delicate areas in your hands and plead for your intercession so that I may have fair opportunities, open doors, and wisdom to manage what I receive. May I not live in fear of lack, but in the confidence of one who knows that heaven does not abandon. I also present those moments when I feel small in the face of challenges. There are days when everything seems too big, too complicated, too heavy for someone like me. I ask that you remind me that I am not defined by my weaknesses, but by the love that God bestows upon me. May I recognize my strength even when it seems minimal. May I see that each small step is already a victory in the eyes of heaven. May your intercession teach me to move forward with humility, yet firmness. I still deliver what I've been asking for so long, and which still hasn't happened. Requests made through tears, in silence, in secret, or only within my heart. Sometimes the waiting hurts, Carlo, and this pain brings doubt. But today I place this doubt before you, so that it too may be transformed. May my faith not be limited to what I can already see. May I learn to trust in the invisible processes, in the miracles that are still being shaped, in the paths that are emerging beyond my eyes. May I have the patience to wait and the sensitivity to recognize when the answer arrives. I ask that this prayer also reach my home, my environment, the spaces where I live and rest. May all heavy energy be removed, may all conflict dissolve, and may anguish give way to peace. May I know when to be silent, when to speak, when to forgive, and when to protect myself. May every corner of my life be illuminated by this divine force that I invoke now. May love prevail, may harmony be established, and may God's protection always be present. I ask that you help me deal with all that is beyond my control. Often I wear myself out, trying to hold on to what doesn't depend on me, anticipating problems that may never exist, trying to resolve situations that only time can organize. Grant me serenity to accept limitations and courage to act where my action is necessary. May I know how to trust. May I know how to surrender. May I breathe before reacting. May I listen to God's voice before becoming anxious. I place before you, Carlo, all the fears I carry in silence, fears I don't even dare confess, fears I disguise to appear strong, fears that sometimes prevent me from living fully. I ask that your intercession reach those roots that limit my steps. May I learn to move forward even when afraid, trusting that divine presence sustains me. May my insecurities not decide the course of my life. May I find a quiet, constant courage, capable of guiding me even when everything within me wants to turn back. I also surrender the words that hurt me, the unfair criticisms, the comparisons that diminished my worth, the judgments I carried undeservedly. May your light, Carlo, help me release burdens that don't belong to me. May I recover my self-esteem, my identity, my confidence. May I see my worth with more loving eyes, less harsh, less marked by the pains of the past. May I be able to see myself as God sees me. I also ask that this prayer touch my projects, my goals, everything I'm trying to build with effort and hope. There are days when everything moves forward and others when everything seems to regress. Sometimes I think of giving up because the path seems too long or too lonely. May your intercession rekindle my spirit, Carlo. May I receive clear signs that I should not abandon what still has purpose. May the right opportunities arrive. May the right people come closer. May I have the discernment to distinguish blessings from distractions. I also want to surrender my expectations so that I don't become frustrated trying to control outcomes. May I learn to trust more, to relax in God's embrace, to move forward with lightness. May I accept the rhythm of life and not the speed that my anxiety demands. May I receive peace to advance at the right time in the rhythm of grace. I place before you, Carlo, all the times I felt alone, even when surrounded by people. Those moments of inner silence where my heart aches and no one notices. May you walk with me through these emptinesses and remind me that the divine presence always surrounds me, even when my world seems distant. May I find solace in faith, support in prayer, and peace in surrender. I also surrender the mistakes I made, the choices I would make differently today, the words I wanted to say and others I would rather not have uttered. May your intercession help me learn from all of this without carrying guilt that should have already been released. May I become someone wiser, kinder, more aware. May I find redemption where there is still pain, and may each failure become a lesson and growth. And now, Carlo, after opening my soul in every sentence, I entrust to you the deepest request of my heart, the intention that brought me to this prayer. What I sincerely desire, what I need to see transformed, what I now place in your hands with all the faith I have, and even with the faith I lack. Receive this request, take it to heaven, and intercede for me with your purity and your devotion. May the impossible receive the light of miracles. May the distant draw near. May the dead end find a way. Carlo, I trust in your presence by my side. I trust in the love of God that guided you and that now reaches me through your intercession. I trust that nothing I have offered will go unanswered. I trust that this prayer has already begun to move what needed to be moved. I trust even without seeing. I trust even when it hurts. I trust because I know that heaven hears me. And so I end this prayer with gratitude. Gratitude for every word spoken. Gratitude for the strength I felt while praying. Gratitude for the miracles that are already being prepared. May the peace that now descends upon me remain. May hope not be extinguished. May divine light continue to guide my steps. So be it, Carlo. So be it, Lord. Amen. If you are listening to these words now, understand something essential. It was not by chance. There are moments when heaven calls us gently, and this prayer found you precisely at the moment when your heart needed it most. Each word here carries an intention of healing, peace, and grace, sent to touch your soul and transform what today weighs too heavily on your shoulders to carry alone. Therefore, I want to hear from you. Open your heart and leave your prayer request in the comments, what you wish Saint Carlo Acutis to present to God for you. Don't be afraid to express what hurts, what worries you, what you dream of, what seems impossible. When you write with faith, something spiritual moves. Grace draws near. The miracle begins to take shape. Don't hide what you feel. Put it there with sincerity and hope. And if any name comes to mind, someone who also needs help, comfort, an urgent miracle, send this video to that person. Sometimes a simple prayer at the right moment changes destinies, opens paths, and rekindles hopes that were extinguished. Make this gesture of love. Bring light where perhaps only silence and pain exist. Write your request. Share it with those who need it. And trust, Saint Carlo Acutis is listening to your voice, welcoming your intentions and interceding for you right now. It is here, at this very moment, that the movement of the miracle begins in your life.